Hey everyone, welcome back to another Gears of War 4 tutorial. My name's Dutch and this video is about mastering movement, as well as to what I believe are the key components to doing well practicing and ultimately having as much fun as possible. If you haven't seen my basic and advanced videos yet, I encourage you to watch those first because they'll explain the background of this video, as well as my video on explaining skill levels and competencies. Mastery of movement in Gears is one of the slowest processes you can go on because it doesn't just take a lot of time, but also a lot of self-discipline and motivation. You really need to want to move this fast or fluid or agile in order to get there. A lot of the times that could mean you have to put yourself in situations where you can die very quickly. I'll explain the two main wall-bound styles and show some examples of it at the end. I'll also explain some common tricks and variations you can apply while facing seemingly impossible odds. So let's begin. There are two main styles of wall bouncing. Straight wall bouncing, sometimes called forward bouncing, and angle bouncing. Straight bouncing is when you're holding or tapping the left stick forward and using your right stick to adjust your angles. Very common amongst players of any skill level because it's the most consistent way of moving, only tweaking the left stick for minor adjustments. The other style is angle bouncing, also known as side bouncing. Angle bouncing is when you're trying to keep your camera as straight as possible and using the left stick to chain the bounces. The pro of this style is that you can keep an enemy in the center of your screen and not get lost in all the camera movements. In general, you'll find a lot of players use only one style or be dominant in one, but that's not why you're here. You're here because you want to control both of them to the best of your ability. So let's break it down. We'll start with straight bouncing. Like I mentioned, straight bouncing is holding your left stick constantly forward to cancel and continue your wall bounce at the same time. It's the simplest way of chaining your wall bounce, especially when there are no enemies in your way to block your path. All you do is hold the left stick forward and only adjust it slightly to the left or right depending where your next cover is. The only times you have to cancel using this style is whenever you don't want to hit the first wall. But be aware, don't overuse this when fighting multiple enemies because if there's anyone in your path, you'll roll instead. So only worry about timing your camera and cover button. Now on to angle bouncing. Angle bouncing is a fast twitch movement that's very effective when you're in small corridors and need to fight someone extremely close to you. It's the opposite of straight bouncing because you're essentially trying to sidestep someone's bullets, meaning you won't use this to go forward or gain any space. To angle bounce, you keep your camera as centered or on target as possible and flick your left stick to the angle where your cover is. Keep in mind that the distance you can travel sideways isn't as far as you can travel forwards, so don't expect it to be very consistent through all the maps because some covers handle it differently. In the next example, I'll show you what you can do to approach certain strange angles such as a curved wall or short stops such as covers near corners, as well as train going both ways. Remember that perfect practice makes perfect, so don't quit trying just because it's going wrong or you're dying more than usual. Find your shortcomings and work on them. Now let's continue. As I start wall bouncing, I aim for 45-degree angles because that's the sweet spot to gain a lot of distance in a short time. When I reach the small section, I want to reach the corner to up A anything on the other end, so I make sure to angle myself that I can see whatever is on the other side or coming towards me. As I up A, I know that running straight at the next corner is a bad idea, so instead of wall bouncing back and forth, I double tap the curved wall. Once I reach the bridge, my objective is to make it back as smooth as possible and test my limits, so all I do is essentially reverse the moves but put in an extra few wall bounces. Now on to the last part of the tutorial. Visualization is a key component to knowing when or what to do in any situation. But being good at visualization is only part of it. You need to control the mechanics as well as knowing the limits of them. So for that, I've recorded 3 approaches to killing a target that's based on a corner opposite of me. The first one is a short side assault, which many know as straight lining. The second is a more balanced approach that's useful for luring out an enemy and taking advantage of your momentum and superior skill. And the last one is the safest but slowest approach, which most players know as going wide. Let's start with the first approach. Straight lining players usually only works if you have forward momentum or are a step or two ahead of the enemy. In this example, I SWAT turn cancel into a roadie strafe to move forward and hopefully confuse my enemy of my intentions. The moment I get in range to wall bounce on the left and up 8 on the right, I take my chances. The second approach is slightly different because my starting angle will be covered by the pillar. This gives me a bit more time to decide what direction to take, but in this example it's quite clear what my intentions are. And finally, the third approach. This is one that most players will deploy against your tactic. The quote-unquote safest or smart way of playing is to go wide and get damage in before you continue towards your enemy. I start the same as my second approach, but I use 2 wall bounces in the middle as an attempt to lure out the opponent. Right as I get out of the bounce, I cover roll into the next cover and land an easy shot on my enemy. And as soon as I confirm my hit, I instantly up 8 to get behind him and finish him off. So there you have it. All the essentials I believe you need to succeed and have fun wall bouncing, strafing, or whatever it is you want to do in Gears of War 4. I'd like to remind everyone that there's nothing as important as focusing your playtime on something productive and fun in the game, rather than just getting an easy win or being on a team. Throughout my series, I've attempted to teach you how to create your own tools and go to war with the rest of us. Stay positive, stay hungry, go fast, and don't just play to play, play to conquer. Be a warrior, be fearless. As Plutarch said about the Spartans, Spartans do not ask how many are the enemy, but where are they? As always, I thank my stream for the help creating these videos, and I wish you the best of luck on your warrior's journey. Thanks for watching, and take care.